Hello and welcome to the 2014 Santa Clarita City Council Candidates Forum.
Thanks, Leon. Thank you for having us. Again, my name is Maria Gutzeit, and I'm running for City Council because I have a great concern for the middle class. I'd like to use my experience to bring more high-paying jobs to our community and to help our families. I began my career in Fortune 500 business and now own my own business doing environmental compliance for industry. My husband also owns his own business, and we have a great concern for the small, especially the small businesses in town. I've served as a director on Newhall County Water District since 2003. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and we also are caregivers for 2 senior parents. Santa Clarita obviously has a great history, and we all love living here. But I think we need people with the skills to lead us forward, and I encourage people to vote for me and learn more about me at electmaria.com.
Do you think we should change anything about the structure of our current form of government? For example, the number of seats on City Council, having an elected mayor, or moving to districts?
I agree with much of what has been said already. I want to put out another idea that some years ago we talked about consolidating the City Council elections with other special districts in Santa Clarita and having a municipal election time slot in November of odd years. I think that that is another thing that could be revisited, perhaps as a settlement agreement on the California Voting Rights Lawsuit Act. Because my understanding from the city's own analysis, we failed the test of that lawsuit, and I would hate to see us waste money as other agencies have. One, just brief research I did, 3 cities together lost $4.5 million on these lawsuits. If we see a way to win, that's fine. If we don't, I think we should settle for the benefit of the community. There's absolutely downsides to districts. I also think there's downsides to mayor, and I look to cities like the city of Los Angeles, for example, the problems, but I don't want to waste the money on a lost cause either.
The city is looking at a billboard proposal from Metro. What do you think the city should do about this?
Yeah, I know almost every debate we've been in, this billboard question comes up, and frankly, I think it says that we need to have a bigger discussion about business. We are talking about blight with these small signs, but really we have small businesses struggling in this community. I would rather see us focus our time and energy working to cut the fees and taxes that small businesses, especially small business startups, have. They pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in water fees for something like a veterinary office or an independent restaurant. They pay fees on top of fees for architectural plans, tenant improvements, things that are not required in other cities like the city of Redondo Beach, where they go in and they look at the changes being made. They don't look at the whole structure and make people completely redo buildings when they move into them. So personally, I think it's a distraction. I'd like us to focus on things that really help business. And I will never say that advertising for small business is blight.
Do you think the Santa Clarita Valley's emergency winter shelter should be available and open year-round to serve the population? And if so, where should that shelter be located?
I guess on the shelter, I would lean towards a permanent facility. I'm a little ambivalent about that. As a mother of a young child, I would say I absolutely understand how critical it is, especially when there's children involved, to have a place to wash up, to get out of the weather, no matter what time of year it is. But I would certainly want to see some time limits on service and a strong push for programs to get people into permanent housing, jobs, other kinds of services that I know are available. I would not want to. I was just in downtown Los Angeles, and the housing situation for the homeless down there is not an issue we want to recreate here in Santa Clarita. So I'd like to see us do what we do best and find a good solution, but help people out when they need the help on a short-term basis.
What do you think is the proper role for a city council member in terms of managing staff?
Okay. I would say I am very comfortable answering this question from my time at Newhall County Water District. I believe the council is there to set policy, and the council is there to give direction to the city manager for implementation. I don't think the city council should be involved with staff at all, and I would say that I feel that has worked very well at the Water District, and you have to have a careful line of respect between the city manager and the council, that everyone is treated fairly, that all issues are handled appropriately, and that the line, again, is not crossed where there's micromanaging of staff or, frankly, micromanaging of projects. I've heard that that was an issue with some individuals that have problems with their buildings, and I think City Council absolutely needs to stick to policy and then step back.
The city of Santa Clarita has successfully had well over 20 annexations. At times, the annexations are revenue neutral, meaning they don't cost the city anything. Other times, the annexations bring money to us as a result of increased sales tax, and there are times we'd actually lose money. Would you vote yes or no to annex Stevenson Ranch, West Ranch into the city of Santa Clarita?
I agree with a lot of what's been said, so I'll just add a few different spins to it. I know the Hasley area residents wanted to annex, and I attended some of the presentations there, and they got a lot of mixed information. So I think when we're reaching out to voters, or voters are coming to us, we need to make sure that we present the right information, that it's an even playing field as to what the county is telling them and what we're telling them, so people can make a good decision if they want to annex. I'm concerned about if we only do revenue positive things, LAFCO may not approve it because they don't like weird boundary lines and they won't leave little communities stranded. So we probably need to do a big chunk all at once so that doesn't happen. But I'd be definitely in favor of it because I think people benefit from local accessible government, and I would also think that we'd enlarge the council because of that.
In order to encourage economic growth, the city regularly supports businesses with either tax incentives or subsidies to bring more jobs to Santa Clarita. If elected, what types of these incentives or subsidies would you propose?
I'm going to not agree with the other candidates on this one because I talked to a lot of small businesses, and I sit on the VIA Regulatory Reform Committee, which is extremely concerned with the high sanitation district fees, much higher than other communities. Our city council has the controlling vote on the sanitation district board and could change that. The water connection fees here are extremely huge for wholesale water. I have not talked to one small business that has tried to expand that said it was either easy or reasonable cost to expand in the city, and several have just decided not to expand because of that. Restaurant owners that have chains in multiple communities say ours is the hardest one to permit in, and even the builders say that the fees per structure in our community far exceed that in the Los Angeles area, even though you can sell homes and other structures for much more money in the city of Los Angeles. Our fees are higher, so I'm hearing a different thing.
Is it appropriate for the city to use its public tax dollars to support services the county is responsible for funding? Can you provide an example of when that might be appropriate?
Yeah, I would echo the comments that the senior center needs more funding, and I was on the board. The county is by far and away the major funder of the senior center. The city does put in half of 1% of their budget towards the senior center, so we need to do something there. But I think overall what we need is partnerships. I think the city has done some partnerships, and I think that should be expanded. Some other areas that they could look at are trails and recreational facilities, the open space. Placerita Canyon is a good example. Libraries, could that have been done better? Could we have had the buildings and still had a nice book catalog by staying with the county catalog system of having more available books? I think we need to leverage our dollars and make sure everything is used cost effectively, and there's no reason not to work with the county, in my opinion.